a comprehensive look at trends, fund profiles, and more in Exploring ETFs.
Gold miner ETFs, that's what we're going to look at this time around with our ETF Research Director, Nina Mishra, who joins me right here. So this group is doing relatively well lately.
Yes, so gold prices have been rising. We know that especially because there is rising geopolitical uncertainty, and also central banks around the world have turned dovish.
Yeah.
And the Fed is also expected to cut rates at its meeting later this month. So lower interest rates are good for gold because the opportunity cost of holding gold, because gold does not produce any income, it does not have any yield.
Right.
So the opportunity cost of holding gold goes down with lower rates. And also lower rates in the US mean a weaker dollar, which is good for gold prices in emerging markets like India and China, which are the top two consumers of gold in the world. So all these factors have helped gold.
There's been some M&A activity in this area too.
Yes, and gold miners are seen as leverage plays on the price of gold, because with rising gold prices, their cash flows and profits, they go up significantly. And usually the beta is about 2. And of course, there has been M&A activity in this space. Newmont acquired Gold Corp in January this year to become the world's largest gold miner. And last fall, Barrick Gold had acquired Rand Gold. So that consolidation in the industry has also been good for gold miners. So that is why they have done really well in the past month or so.
All right, let's take a look at some of these. The VanEck Vectors Gold Miners ETF, GDX, the ticker is 1.
Yes, so this is the first gold mining ETF, and it is also the largest, most popular gold mining ETF. It is a market cap weighted ETF. It holds companies which produce gold, and also some companies which produce other precious metals in addition to gold. 52 basis points expense ratio and more than 11 billion in assets under management. Very liquid ETF, very good for traders. Now, if you want to learn more about this ETF, you can go to the quote page on Zacks.com, and you can also go to external homepage, the VanEck web page for this particular ETF. I also did a podcast with VanEck portfolio manager for gold. You can listen to that podcast here. Now, looking at this particular ETF, you will see that it has 44 holdings: Newmont, Barrick, and Newcrest Mining. These are the top holdings. And these gold mining ETFs have a lot of international exposure because many gold mining companies are in Canada and Australia and in Africa. So Canada accounts for 48% of the portfolio, US 17%, and Australia about 17%.
iShares has the MSCI Global Gold Miners ETF.
Very interesting ticker, RING.
Yeah.
It is more pure play compared to the VanEck products. Most of the companies that it holds, those are pure play gold mining companies that produce only gold. This is also a market cap weighted ETF. This is slightly cheaper with 39 basis points expense ratio, and assets are 2633 million, so much smaller compared to the VanEck product. So again, if you want to learn more about this ETF, you can go to the quote page, and from there you can also go to iShares web page for this ETF. Now, this ETF has 35 holdings, so that means a more concentrated portfolio compared to VanEck. And also you will see that it is a bit top heavy with Newmont, Barrick, Newcrest, and Anglo Gold. The top 4 holdings account for almost 50% of the portfolio.
Okay, top heavy, no pun intended. And then finally, Sprott Gold Miners ETF.
The ticker is SGDM. This is a smart beta ETF. It uses a quantitative weighting methodology to weight its holdings. It is also the most expensive in the space with 63 basis points expense ratio. Smaller compared to the other two, 187 million in assets. And to learn more about this ETF, you can go to the quote page as for others too. And from there you can go to external homepage and you will see that it has 25 holdings, and you will see that the index aims to track the performance of larger size gold companies, and it uses a transparent rules-based methodology which is designed to emphasize gold companies with the highest revenue growth and free cash flow yield and lowest long-term debt to equity. So these are the factors that are used in weighting the holdings in this ETF. And if you look at the top holdings, the same top holdings as in other ETFs, Newmont, Kirkland, Barrick, Franco-Nevada, slightly different because of the different weighting methodology, but again familiar names, but in different weights in this particular ETF.
All right, you have two charts now that compares all of these. One is the year-to-date chart.
Yes, so this shows how well these ETFs have done of late, particularly since June. The two products by Sprott and iShares, they are up more than 35%, whereas the VanEck product is up about 34% this year. Gold is up about 11%, and I also have the S&P 500 index ETF there, which is up about 20% this year.
And you're also comparing over the 5-year period.
I have the 5-year chart here to show that these gold miners, these are not buy and forget products.
Okay.
You will see that over longer period, their performance has been rather disappointing. Gold is barely up about maybe 10% over the past 5 years, but most of these ETFs have almost flat return. So they should be used more as trading tools when gold prices are going up and you want a higher beta play on gold, then these are worth a look. On the other hand, gold, I usually recommend that gold deserves some place in the portfolio, about 5 to 7% of the portfolio, because of its diversification benefits. So slightly difference in, slight on the period of holding, how you should look at these ETFs versus gold ETFs.
Sure. Do you own either of these?
I do not.
All right, thanks for the information. More ETF information exists in the ETF section of Zacks.com, of course. Use the Funds tab in the top toolbar on the home page to get to that section. If you want to look up that Gold Miner ETF Spotlight, that's the audio podcast that Nina was referring to earlier, all you need to do is get back to the home page, scroll down to the bottom, click on the word podcasts, and it takes you to that section of our site. Meantime, with Nina, I'm Terry Ruffalo.